Hi, it's Sharma, author of The Leader Who Had No Title, founder of the Titan Academy. Welcome to, I'm going to do this. Welcome to this mastery session. This is about the 5 things to do before you die. I'm going to dive right in. Number 1, swim with the dolphins in Mauritius. I don't know if you've ever been to Mauritius, but it's this little island, this little nation a few hours off the coast of South Africa. And a number of years ago, I was really blessed. I was down there giving a presentation, and one of the opportunities I had was to swim with the dolphins, and I think it's the Indian Ocean, and it was one of the unforgettable moments of my life. I guess what I'm really suggesting to you is this. Before you die, remember, adventure is incredibly important. Yes, you've got to work. Yes, you've got obligations. Yes, we all have bills to pay. But what's the point about getting to the end without having swum with the dolphins, without having injected adventure into your life, without maybe having heli-skied in New Zealand, or maybe seeing the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican City? So the first point really is this: inject adventure into your days. Second thing to do before you die: dance barefoot in a park after a rainstorm. What's that all about? Well, that's really about savoring. You might have heard me talk about this before, but a lot of the latest positive psychology says one of the core daily habits of the happiest people is they savor. They don't just drink great Colombian coffee, they savor it. They don't just have a conversation with a loved one, they look in their eyes, they listen, they take it in. They don't just get in the car, they look up at the sky and they savor the blue sky. They don't just walk in the woods thinking about their work projects, they savor the mossy smell. They savor the colors on the trees if it's autumn time. So the second thing is dance barefoot in a park after a rainstorm. But what I'm really getting at is savor the gorgeousness of every single day life. I mean, every single day is a breathtaking miracle to the one who has the eyes to witness them. The third thing that you want to do before you die: read the heroic books. One of the great things that my father shared with me, he filled our home with so many great books, the complete works of Shakespeare, the writings of Mahatma Gandhi, like his autobiography, My Story of the Experiments with Truth, I think it's called. Forgive me if I'm saying that title wrong. But the third thing is you want to read the great books of wisdom. You do want to read the complete works of Shakespeare and figure out what happened to Macbeth, what happened to Hamlet, what were those Achilles' heels that caused them to rise to epic success and then basically collapse. You want to read Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. Oh, what a amazing book. I think he carried it with him for many years to make sure every word was just perfect. You want to read As You Think, that work from James Allen. You want to read Man's Search for Meaning. You want to read Nelson Mandela's autobiography. You want to read the works of the icons who have graced business, productivity, creativity, society. That's the great thing about reading and reading the heroic books. It allows you to get behind their eyeballs. And then you'll learn how they dealt with difficulty, how they handled self-doubt, how they rebounded and leveraged heartbreak, how they enjoyed their times at the top of the mountain, how they dealt with their times in the valley of darkness. I mean, that is the human journey. And one of the great values of learning is you can collapse time. You can distill what took an icon 50 years before they wrote their book, and you read 50 years of how they lived. And you get that in one book. So the fourth thing that I encourage you to do before you die: get to know yourself. I think it was Plato or Aristotle, but there was a temple, I think it was, and there was some kind of a sign, and it was, know thyself. And I guess what I'm getting at, probably not very elegantly, but the philosophers have really reminded us, which is the life unexamined is not worth living. And I forget who said that. It was Aristotle, or it was one of those in that genre. But let's think about it. The unexamined life is not worth living. So yes, be in the world, but don't be of the world, as the great truth says. Yes, Make the time to be productive in your work and get a lot of great projects done so that you release your potential and you help a lot of people through your value delivery. But at the same time, make the time for the season of wilderness. Make some time for solitude in a world that no longer values solitude. Get to know yourself. Who am I? What are my core values? What have I learned from my painful times? Where am I going in the future? How do I want to be remembered by my loved ones at my funeral? When I'm no longer here, what will I have wished that my life stood for? And then the final thing that you want to do before you die is help as many people as possible. I think one of the greatest joys of life is not accumulating, but it's in donating. And I'm not just saying donating money, but that's fine. Philanthropy, is awesome. But use the rest of your days to lift people up. I mean, that's really what leadership and being an icon in my mind and being a world-class human being is all about. It's less ego, more service. Less about me, more about other people. Less about scarcity, like a timid soul taking from the world, taking from other people, taking their energy, taking their time, taking their attention, and being someone who's a giver, generous. Be generous with your listening to everyone you meet today. You know how many people, you ask them a few questions and it's like talk, talk, talk. Why? They haven't been heard. You can give them a gift by listening to them. Your customer, be generous with your time, with your information, with your helpfulness. A stranger on the street, at the grocery store, maybe just walking along the street. Be generous with your smile. I know you might say, Robin, that sounds very idealistic. You know how powerful that is in a world where people are under so much anxiety, so much frustration, so much fear is the emotion, where their face is like stone. Look at them. Model humanity for them today by smiling, by looking at them in the eye, by maybe saying something nice to them if you have the opportunity. What an amazing day. What an amazing shawl. Or some kind of a compliment. So the final thing you want to do before you die is every single day, find at least 3 people you can uplift. You do that for 10 years, work it out. How many people do you influence? You do that for the next 100 years of the rest of your life. You become a world builder. And that's my great wish for you. Hi, it's Robin. I invite you to subscribe to this podcast and definitely go over to robinsharma.com for more information, tools, and resources on mastery, elite performance, and living a world-class life.